Hello, hi there. I wanted to make sure you are listening to us before we start. So if anyone can drop me a message on the chat box so I know that you're listening to us, that okay. Thank you guys. Thank you for your okay, good, good. So we are all here. So I did a little introduction because it's not me who will be presenting today, right? That's our famous Queen of Russia, Natalia. She will be talking about Ukraine and the Baltics, which is a region that we believe we could explore more in Latin America. I am glad to tell you guys that we have, made this webinar very exclusive. We invited, you who have been supporting us for many years, and we appreciate all the loyalty and the support you're giving us. And we truly believe that we all will be coming out of this situation stronger, smarter, and meanwhile, we will be doing our best to support you in the way we can. So once again, thank you for being here. Thank you for your support, continued support. I will be taking your questions during the presentation. So Natalia will not be answering any questions during the webinar because we want to have full attention on the topics we will be discussing and presenting. Afterwards, I will be following up. So I'll be taking notes during the presentation. Hope you enjoy it. And afterwards, I will be following up and send you guys some very special itineraries that we made for the region. And they are already priced up on a very appealing promotional price. So I will hand it over now to our Queen of Russia and the Baltics, Natalia. And now I'll be talking to you guys once Natalia is done. Natalia?
Hello. Good afternoon, our dear friends and colleagues in Latin America. I hope you are in good health and as well as you can be during these unprecedented times. Well, now that COVID-19 restrictions in Europe are being gradually lifted, it has been really refreshing to focus on the future when international travel can again return to Europe. So this led me and Gabe to the idea of doing a webinar for you to present some lesser known destinations in Europe, like the Baltic states and Ukraine. But before I do that, I'd like to show you my team. This picture was taken last year in the Red Square. It's not all of my team, but the main part of it. And so we have an office in Moscow, we have an office in St. Petersburg, and clearly we operate all through Russia, but also in the countries which are neighboring countries. Well, here I'm listing the countries where we can provide full support for your clients when they decide to travel in Russia, Ukraine, Baltic countries, the stands, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Turkmenistan, as well as the Caucasus, Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. So we are the experts on the ground, and we provide a 24/7 service for your discerning clients, which would also include concierge rail service wherever your clients will be traveling by train. And train travel is very popular in Europe, as you know, and we as ANK handle it beautifully when our clients don't even touch their bags, but they see their bags already in their next hotel in the next city. We also do a lot of, provide a lot of private short excursions, not only in St. Petersburg, which of course is a massive destination for Baltic cruises, but also in such important ports of the Baltic Sea as Tallinn, Riga, and some others. So the benefits of doing private shore excursions away from the cruise ship buses is obvious, so we keep your people away from the large groups. We do the skip of the line entrance, which is absolutely essential considering the number of people usually visiting these popular destinations. So the clients have a private Spanish or Portuguese speaking guide who will take them everywhere, without waiting in the line. So by the end of the day, they actually get to see a lot more than they would on a cruise program. In St. Petersburg, such private shore excursions will be done on a blanket visa for some countries in Latin America that require a Russian visa, so they would not require that for the shore excursions. We will take care of their blanket visa. And very important, so our price is very competitive. In many cases, it is less than what the cruise lines are charging for private sightseeing. And it is commissionable to you guys. So these are the benefits, and please consider us once cruise business is back, and I predict not earlier than next year. So please think of us for the private shore excursions in St. Petersburg, Tallinn, Riga, and other Baltic ports. Well, today I would like to focus on the destinations that you perhaps don't know that much about. And yes, they're very attractive destinations when you consider traveling to Eastern Europe. I'm talking about Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. So these three Baltic states are countries in the northeastern Europe on the eastern shore of the Baltic Sea. The three small countries have a long and interesting history and very impressive cultural heritage, which dates back to Hanseatic League. The culture of these places, of these countries, was strongly influenced by Scandinavians, Germans, Polish people, Poles, and Russians. While modern history of the Baltic states has been especially shaped by Russia, since it gained control over this land back in the 18th century. The region, well, each of the three countries has its own language, by the way, with Russian and English being a common second language, second and third. So the region is home to 6.3 million people. Nearly half of them live in Lithuania. So that has the biggest population of the three. The Baltic states have land borders with Poland, Belarus, and Russia, and sea borders with Sweden and Finland. Ukraine, as you can see, borders on Russia, Belarus, Poland, Romania, and Moldova. Well, here you can see the main cities of these Baltic states. So it's Tallinn in Estonia, Riga in Latvia, and Vilnius in Lithuania. Kaliningrad, if you look further down within the big circle, so Kaliningrad is a small slice of Russia, or Russian land, to the southwest of Vilnius, between Poland and Lithuania. So there are, within this whole area, I'm talking about the Baltic countries and Kaliningrad, there are very good connections from everywhere in Europe. From other parts of Europe. So getting to the Baltics from elsewhere always includes at least one change of planes. And usually this change of planes is done in Riga. Riga is the main hub for the Air Baltic. This is the main airline of this area, so which flies to 60 cities. Ferry boats are also very popular. They crisscross the Baltic Sea. And the most popular routes are Helsinki, Tallinn, Helsinki, St. Petersburg, and also Stockholm, Tallinn, Stockholm, St. Petersburg. So Riga, Latvia is, so let's start with Latvia, okay? So the Baltic countries are very diverse, and I think I mentioned that already. So in each country and region has a different history and culture. So Latvia is mainly a Protestant country with a very strong Nordic German influence. The population of Latvia today is about 2 million people. Riga is the biggest city. It has about 750,000 population. And it is, actually it's 1/3 of the whole country in terms of population. And it is set up on the Baltic Sea and also on the banks of the Daugava River. So Riga is home to many museums. and beautiful buildings. So I'm showing here the downtown of Riga, one of the central squares, which is full of cafes and restaurants and is very lively in every season. So Riga has a lot of medieval history. Here you see the Swedish gate, and as I mentioned already, there are lots of remarkable buildings going back to medieval times. And in fact, the old town of Riga is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So here you can see the charming streets of the old Riga. The Kalko Street, which is cobblestone, pedestrian. The whole of Old Town is pedestrian. There's a lively Vera Square, which is again a very popular center of events. Well, this is something different, which you find in Riga. This is the Art Nouveau district. It is also, by the way, included in the UNESCO World Heritage List. This district is simply amazing. Over a third of all buildings in Riga are like this, the examples of Art Nouveau architecture, perhaps the finest in entire Europe. You can see here colorful facades, intricate stonework, and wonderful unusual elements, the gargoyles. So a lovely half-day tour of Riga will be dedicated to exploring the Art Nouveau district. And this is another part of the Riga with totally different architecture. This would be the dome. No, this would be the house of the Brotherhood of Blackheads. Those were merchants of Hanseatic League in medieval times, the unmarried merchants. And the building today is a very important city landmark, and it is a beautiful, really wonderful museum inside. You can see some of the interiors. This is the Dome Cathedral, which is it was the main bishop's seat or church in Livonia until 1560s. So it is the biggest medieval church, not only in Riga, but in the whole Baltic region. Its organ is very famous, and we always recommend our clients to go and attend a concert of the Dome organ. Well, here you can see a medieval gunpowder tower, which is so pretty and colorful. And another very colorful place is the market. So the Riga market occupies a series of 5 Second World War Zeppelin hangars. So they are huge structures, and inside is the market, which officially is Europe's largest market. So this is a great place to refuel after a morning tour. This is a lovely picture showing the panoramic view of the old part of Riga, which is equally pretty during the day as well as at night. Now, if you travel a little bit outside of Riga, you can see some wonderful examples of classical and Baroque architecture. I'm showing here a picture of the Rundale Palace. It's one of the most outstanding monuments of Baroque and Rococo in Latvia. It was built in 1740s as a summer residence of the Dukes of Courland. It is about 80 kilometers away from Riga, so easily accessible by car. I'm showing here some specialty of Riga. This is the Riga Black Balsam. So it's a very popular drink which has been produced in Riga since 18th century. Sorry, it has a bittersweet taste and fruity aroma, and is probably one of the best gifts of friendship from Latvia. Now I'd like to introduce to you the hotels. I'll be speaking about the hotels which we recommend in each destination. So this hotel, the Grand Palace Hotel, is located in the city center in a historic building. So the rooms are very nicely appointed, as you can see. And there are about 86 rooms here. So this would be our first choice, first recommendation for Riga. There's another wonderful boutique property that is called Dome Hotel. As you realize, it is very close to the Dome Cathedral in the very heart of the old town. It's a really tiny boutique hotel with a contemporary look. And I would say it is between 4 and 5 stars. So now we come to Estonia. So Estonia would be the smallest of the 3 Baltic states. The population is about 1.3 million. The country borders on the Baltic Sea and the Gulf of Finland, and it is also the closest to St. Petersburg. Estonia has about, well, it's characterized by lots of islands, more than 1,000 little islands. Its nature is very picturesque, old growth forests and lakes, and there are a lot of castles and churches and hilltop fortresses here. Well, Tallinn, you see the picture now of its capital city, Tallinn. This is the country's cultural hub. It is also the smallest of all the 3 Baltic capital cities. Actually, Tallinn is quite interesting. It is an aspiring global field city and Estonia's digital industrial hub. With this said, Tallinn is quite small and compact, especially when it comes to its old town. I would probably say that Tallinn by far is the most charming of the 3 capitals, but perhaps also the most touristy, especially in summer. So this is the old town. It is also pedestrian, cobblestone, and home to hundreds of little cafes and shops, as well as the wonderful opera house. This is the oldest part of Tallinn, the fortress that is called Toompea. Here you can see the fortification walls and towers, and our clients can walk the walls with their guide, just to get an idea how Tallinn was set up as a medieval fortress. At night, it is very pretty, very picturesque, and has very rich nightlife with wonderful nightclubs. I'm showing here the picture of the Russian Orthodox Cathedral of Alexander Nevsky that was built in 1900 right on the Toompea hill, and it has been dominating the hill since that time, since its construction. The Alexander Nevsky Cathedral has a very interesting collection of icons. Well, this is the Parliament building and some old towns that lead right into the heart of the old town. Towers lead into the heart of the old town, which is very picturesque and picture perfect. Here you can see St. Catherine's Passage. You know, this passage has not changed since medieval times. And it is also known as the center of folk crafts and arts. In Tallinn, you can see a mix of different architectural styles, from Gothic style, and here is a wonderful tower with its sun clock, you know, to the buildings that were used for more practical purposes. For instance, this one is the oldest pharmacy in Estonia, but also in the entire Baltic region. It's called Apteek, and the apteek or the pharmacy has retained its original interior. This is the Dome Square with the Dome Cathedral with the tower. It is the center of life. This is the beating pulse of the city, and this is a place where you will always find people day and night. And it is very pretty with its markets. So Christmas markets it's a big thing in Estonia. Well, here is the picture of a palace, Kadriorg Palace, that is located in the outskirts. So the palace was built by the order of Peter the Great as one of his residences, and it has a great interior, beautiful Baroque style. Now something quite different from lavish Baroque. This is a KGB museum. I think it would be a very interesting addition to your client's tour program in Estonia. So in 1960s, many hotels for foreigners were built, and Tallinn was not an exception. So the Viru Hotel now has this museum, KGB museum, which tells a lot about that time, about the Soviet times and Soviet society and the development of Estonia. This is another new fascinating place, which I would definitely recommend to be included in the program. It's called the Seaplane Harbor Museum. So it is a maritime museum, which was opened quite recently in 2012, so that's 8 years ago. It has more than 100 exhibits in unique seaplane hangars. So a very interesting place to visit. Well, when I told you about diverse architecture, here's a wonderful example of the Gothic style. It's in Pirita, another suburb of Tallinn, where there is a wonderful yachting club. So there is also the remains of this Gothic cathedral. And here is another interesting place. This is a recreation of Estonian village, so to say. So here you can see the traditional homes of Estonians as they were back in the 19th century. And it's a lovely place to visit away from the crowds in good weather. Folk festivals are held there in this place. And it is great joy to attend such a folk festival, particularly in July. You know, every second year in July, there is a festival which involves a lot of dancing, singing, wearing national costumes, trying national food. Now, the outskirts of Tallinn and generally the nature of Estonia is quite diverse and very pretty, very picturesque. I'm showing here Jagala waterfall, which is located halfway between Tallinn and Latvia National Park, which is another big attraction, which I'll speak about in a minute. So Jagala waterfall is the biggest in Estonia. When we talk about accommodations, well, Hotel Telegraph in Tallinn is a lovely property. It is a boutique hotel with only 86 rooms. It is in the very heart of the old town, located in the former Telegraph building. So take a look at its interiors. It has a lovely spa, a great restaurant, which features the traditional and modern Estonian cuisine. And here is an example of one of the rooms. As a historical property or option, I would like to highly recommend Hotel Schlossle, which I prefer really because, well, I stayed, when I come to Tallinn, I prefer to stay at Schlossle. I think it is a charming property with just a few rooms. It's only about 15 rooms, which have this medieval look, but certainly 21st century comfort. So the nature of Estonia is very rich, just as I said before. And here are some examples of it. Saaremaa Island is the biggest island in West Estonian archipelago. So if you look at the map, it's quite close to the mainland, but it's still an island, and it is known for its beautiful nature and rich historical heritage. So the main places to explore here would be nature, of course, as I said, culture, history. So here you can see the Kuressaare Castle. So culture would be a great introduction, you know, into the traditional way of life of Estonians, and nature. Here on the island, you can see the colonies of seals. You can walk, go all the way up to the lighthouse and explore the surrounding areas. So the nature is right there, and I think this would be something that people nowadays, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic is over, this is what the people would be looking for, to get away from the large cities, from big crowds, and to be close to nature, to go off the beaten track and explore some really wonderful spots in the country. You can go horse riding there. I can do a lot of hiking. So it's a great way to spend a day in Estonia. Another interesting place, another important national park is called Latvia Park. It comprises Estonia's most popular nature reserve, with its coastal line, vast forests, wetlands, and many hiking trails, which are so typical of Estonian wetland. Well, here you can see the roadmap. Actually, the best and the most practical way to travel between the three countries would be by road. We would be very happy to arrange for for a driver, a very experienced driver. It could be an English-speaking driver, could be a Spanish-speaking driver. We will try our best to arrange that. And your clients can also do self-driving. So now we come to Lithuania. So Lithuania, the capital of Lithuania is Vilnius. And Vilnius is also an old medieval city, especially the old part of it, the old town. It's famous for its university, which is the oldest university in Northern Europe. The central square, the cathedral square, again, is a combination of different architectural styles, and definitely the very center of the city, which draws many crowds, tourist crowds. So here you can see the cathedral, the Vilnius Cathedral, that is the slower building in classical style. Well, I have to say that when Estonia and Latvia are Christian Protestant and Christian Lutheran countries where religion is not so strong, Lithuania, unlike the previous two, has a very strong Catholic faith, which is a very powerful driving force of their everyday life. But here, to the left of the cathedral, classical cathedral, you can see a tower. The lower part of it is Gothic, and it's a leaning tower, almost like the Pisa Tower. Here is another picture, well, a picture from another angle, from a different angle, which shows really the tower very well. Inside the cathedral, there is a St. Casimir chapel, which is known for its very rich decor. Well, I already spoke about Catholic faith being so strong in Lithuania. So here is the Gate of Dawn. It's another very sacred, very holy place in entire Vilnius. And here in a special shrine over the gate, there is well, in a special shrine, there is a Virgin Mary icon, which is considered to be very sacred. Well, here is St. Casimir Church, another important Baroque cathedral in Vilnius. Look at this lovely architecture. It's very intact since 18th century, basically. And here is a beautiful demonstration of Baroque facade of St. Casimir Cathedral. I'm showing here the building of the National Philharmonic, which is a great place to visit in the evening for a concert. So here is the interior and wonderful music. Concerts are held there. This is the Grand Duke Palace, which is now the National Museum. Definitely a must-see when you travel to Lithuania, to Vilnius. Vilnius, just like Tallinn, was built as a fort initially. And here you can see a picture of Gediminas Tower, which is made of brick. And it stands on a hill that is overlooking the the city. Another great example of Gothic architecture is the Church of St. Anne to the left. Well, classical architecture is one of the private palaces. So you see, there is a lot to do and a lot to explore when people love history and architecture. Well, this is the Museum the Museum of Occupations and Freedom Rights. So this museum is dedicated to occupations, the history of occupations of Lithuania, and a large part of it is dedicated to the Holocaust of a Jewish population during the Second World War. I don't know if you know, but a very sad fact, but there were more Jews killed in Lithuania than there were in Germany. Well, take a look at this colorful facade. Vilnius is full of art galleries, which I love. This is what I love about the city. You know, they're very creative, and they show, there are galleries of design, of art, of crafts, of many different wonderful objects that people can take home as memories of their trip. Now, if they travel to the countryside, here you can see they can find some strong Russian influence. This is a local house built in the traditional Russian style. And then Trakai. Trakai would be the one of the castles in the countryside, and definitely worth a visit, half a day visit. It goes back to the 14th century, and it was built for the dukes of that region. Today, it is a wonderful museum of different clocks and stamps and weapons and many other articles. And in the evening, it is very often the site of opera performances. This place is called the Hill of Crosses. It is a national center of pilgrimage. I don't think you can find something like that anywhere in the world. Standing on a small hill, there are many hundreds of thousands of crosses that represent Christian or Catholic devotion, and also they're a memorial to Lithuania's national identity. So this hill is visited by thousands of tourists from all over the world. And the crosses range from 3 meters tall to tiny ones hanging upon larger crosses. So definitely something that a place that cannot be missed. And it's also a very nice stop on the way from Latvia into Lithuania if you travel by the road. Now, if we talk about the best accommodation options in Vilnius, it's definitely Grand Hotel Kempinski. This is our preferred choice. It's a wonderful historical building, 19th century building. And it has a wonderful spa, great cuisine. And the second option would be a historical Stiklai Hotel, which is clearly a boutique hotel with about 46 rooms. So the rooms are very nicely appointed in the traditional style, and you can choose from different colors, you know, depending on your preference. Here they are. Now, what is so famous in Lithuania? So what can you bring from Lithuania? Well, first of all, of course, would be amber jewelry. So amber is fossilized pine tree resin, which has been appreciated for its color and natural beauty since ancient times. Historically, the Baltic Sea coast, particularly parts of Lithuania and Kaliningrad, they are the world's leading source of amber. So particularly, you know, the most precious amber is the one that has got insects and some other inclusions in it. And this would be probably the best buy you can make in Lithuania. And some of you who have been to St. Petersburg know that the famous amber room in Catherine's Palace in Pushkin is all made of amber palettes that were beautifully and artistically carved by the Russian craftsmen. People believed since time immemorial that amber doesn't just decorate you, but it also heals you. So it has some healing power and an important healing agent, in treating human body. And in Lithuania, it's possible to attend amber sauna. Now, I would like to speak a little bit about Kaliningrad. Well, as I mentioned already, it's a very tiny slice of land to the northwest of Vilnius, between Poland and Lithuania, and it belongs to Russia. So this is ex-Königsberg, once the capital of East Prussia, and it became part of the Soviet Union and later Russia, of course, back in 1946. So this is what the city looks like. Isn't it pretty? It is a wonderful, very pretty place, which I am sure you don't know much about or probably have not even heard about. But it's definitely worth visiting, especially if you visit the 3 Baltic states, because it's such an easy, it's just a stone's throw away from them. So this is the Kaliningrad waterfront. And what else can you do? Can you visit Kaliningrad for? Definitely, it's outstanding nature, and specifically the Curonian Spit. So Curonian Spit is a sandy spit which is shared by Lithuania and Russia, and it contains the largest drifting sands. Now, this is a great picture that shows the Baltic Sea to the left and the Curonian Bay to the right. So the place has drifting dunes, has the biggest amount of drifting sand dunes in Europe. It's great fun to explore the dunes, to go hiking, or to visit the dancing forest that formed, when the trees formed these whimsical shapes by the wind and strong winds. Another great place to visit is the national park, which is called Red Forest. It's especially colorful in autumn when trees turn colors. The best accommodations would be at Crystal House Suite Hotel and Spa. It's a wonderful, very modern 5-star luxury hotel in the heart of Kaliningrad. Another option is the Radisson Blu Hotel, which is a nice 4-star option. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to come over from the Baltic countries to Ukraine. So Ukraine is a country in Eastern Europe with a population of 42 million. So this makes this country second largest country in Europe after Russia. Its capital and the largest city is Kiev. While the other big cities, as you can see, are Lviv, Odessa, and Kamenets-Podilsky. So Ukrainian is the official language of the country, and its alphabet is Cyrillic, just like Russian. The dominant religion is Eastern Orthodox religion. So Kiev is an ancient city. When I say ancient, it really is. So once the capital of Kievan Rus, the first East Slavic state, this place reached its peak in the early 11th century. So its historical center is located on the high bank of the Dnieper River, which you can see now in this picture. And the city itself is very rich in outstanding architectural and historical monuments. One of them, and probably the most important landmark, would be the Golden Gate, which was a very important fortification facility at the entrance into Old Town. That goes back to the 11th century, as well as St. Sophia Cathedral. St. Sophia is one of the city's best-known landmarks, and also the very first heritage site in Ukraine to be included on the World Heritage list. It's famous for its incredibly beautiful mosaic, showing Hagia Sophia or Saint Sophia, 11th century. There are many other churches, there are many other cathedrals which have remarkable architecture and incredible decor. So this is St. Vladimir Cathedral, St. Michael's Cathedral, and St. Andrew's Cathedral. In this picture, you can see the St. Andrew's Cathedral dominating the hill. By the way, Kiev is built on hills, so it's also a very nice way to explore it on foot. So from here, from St. Andrews, you can walk all the way down the street, which is old cobblestone streets with lots of restaurants and cafes and museums, all the way down to the Dnieper River. And here is probably the most important place in Kiev. It's called the Kiev Pechersk Monastery, Lavra Monastery. The place, well, as I said, goes back to 11th century. It has remarkable architecture. This is the Dormition Cathedral that was unfortunately completely destroyed during the Second World War, but was restored. And now it is probably the very center, the pivotal center of the entire ensemble of the Kiev Pechersk Lavra Monastery. The place is also known as the Cave Monastery because down below there are, lots of underground passages with the remains of the monks. They can be visited, but the passages are very narrow. They're only 1 to 1.5 meter wide and about 2 to 2.5 meters high. So you can imagine if people have claustrophobia, this was not the place, the visit for them. Well, there are some great contemporary monuments in Kiev. Here is one dedicated to the founders of Kiev, the three brothers, East Slavic princes and their sister. And this is the Maidan Square or Independence Square. I'm sure you see it a lot when you see the news from Ukraine. This is what they show. This is the center of all events, important political events. There's a great Philharmonic in Kiev and a fantastic opera and ballet theater. Another great recommendation for the evening activity. This is what it looks like from the inside. Here is an unusual house. It was built as a private home by a very talented local architect. It's also known as the House of Gargoyles. Pirogovo is a place in the outskirts of Kiev, which can be visited for exploration of the local ethnic life of Ukrainians. So this is like the recreation of an ethnic Ukrainian village. This is our recommendation for accommodations in Kiev. Fairmont Grand Hotel is absolutely the best option. It's a true luxury hotel with great interiors, wonderful lounges, and greatly appointed rooms. Well, here I would like to show you one of the activities that is possible on one of the days when your clients are in Kiev. I'm talking about a visit to Chernobyl. Chernobyl is in the, about 110 kilometers away from Kiev. So you need to count on the whole day, when you go there. So Chernobyl, this picture shows the Chernobyl, the reactor, or what was left of it after the terrible disaster, a nuclear accident that occurred on the 26th of April, 1986, on the fourth reactor of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant near the city of Pripyat. So this is how the reactor number 4 looks now. There is a sarcophagus over it. And this is another view of the station from the town of Pripyat, which was inhabited by the people who used to work at the nuclear power plant, and they had to be evacuated within 24 hours when the disaster occurred. What makes it interesting to go there? Well, first of all, you just see the whole place as it was left back on the 27th of April, 1986. Total abandoned, people left in a hurry. So leaving everything behind. So the Ferris wheel that was just set up then and was never used. The cultural center of the workers of the nuclear power plant, and even the schools where time stopped. Now, it is possible to visit the control room of the nuclear power plant, which I think is quite fascinating, especially after the HBO TV series about Chernobyl. If you have not seen it, I highly recommend. It's a very moving production. But when your clients travel to Kiev, please tell them that they can certainly put it on a visit to Chernobyl on their agenda. It's absolutely safe to visit. And we, as you of course know, Abercrombie and Kent would not do anything that would not be safe for our clients. And now I would like to speak about the second largest or second best place, in my opinion, to visit in Ukraine. It's the city of Lviv. It is the largest city of Western Ukraine and is the 7th largest city in the entire country. The population of Lviv is about 720 people. It is one of the main cultural centers of the area of Ukraine. So it has a great opera house. The historical center does have cobblestone streets, fantastic Baroque architecture. There's some great little shops and restaurants to visit. This is an old 18th century pharmacy. And there's a great coffee shop there, which is quite famous. And we would definitely recommend to visit this place. There are also many estates and manor houses to explore in the countryside of Lviv. And another great thing to do is, of course, a gastronomical delight, to taste the traditional Ukrainian cuisine, the Ukrainian vodkas, and the famous Ukrainian borscht. The best hotel to stay at when in Lviv is Hotel Nobilis. It fits very well with the architecture of the area and is the only 5-star luxury boutique hotel in Lviv. So with that, I would like to conclude my presentation. And I'd like to add, before I say goodbye to you all, that the Baltic states are the ones that were not much affected by this current pandemic. They're they're coming back, to normal life right now, and quite fast. So they have many businesses open as well as restaurants. And they would be the first ones, to open after this, after when travel comes back. These places have fantastic nature, where your people can get away from the crowds. There's great cultural and historical legacy to explore. So I would definitely highly recommend your clients to consider traveling to these destinations, the Baltic states and Ukraine. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to wish everybody to stay healthy and in good spirits despite everything. Thank you very much. Goodbye.